Hello there, kia ora. We all know that right now time's a little bit wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, but that doesn't mean that we can drop the ball on what's happening around us. Midnight on Tuesday saw the submission period on the Treaty Principles Bill close online, and technically, if it's delivered to Parliament on the Wednesday, it still counts. There were technical issues with volume, though. That means that there might be some leeway in getting your submission submitted online as long as you're able to prove that you are impacted by these issues that cropped up due to the volume amounts of people that were trying to submit. And if that's the case, then you need to directly contact Parliament. You can do that through their website, have a chat to them and see if they can advise on what happens next. But make sure you don't assume that there's going to be an extension on submissions until Parliament announce it directly, even though some media have said it's a possibility. Experts here are saying that they believe this might be our most submitted on bill of all time, but we won't know the final numbers until the committee publishes them. There's a lot of factors as well on how they're counted. According to Otago University Professor of Public Law Andrew Geddes, copy-pasted submissions are counted as one submission, and with organisers on both sides of the debate having organised and encouraged different submission types, there's bound to be a few of these in the mix. Like this form letter that's on the ACT Party Treaty Principles website, the one that David Seymour's been claiming is the only source of truth about the bill. Anyone who submitted this won't have it counted as an individual submission if they use the same text that's provided. What a shame. Anyway, we also need to remember that there are constantly other changes in bills that require feedback in one way or another. And if you're not too distracted by, the fluff piece on RNZ and every other media outlet about Amanda Luxon and her mutual love of dancing with the Prime Minister, then you'll find a full list of upcoming bill submissions heading to Select Committee on the parliamentary website. But there are other processes you should look at as well. On January 13, feedback on the Regulatory Standards Bill closes, but this isn't through the Parliament website. This is being done through a consulting process because the Ministry of Regulation has 4 times the staff of the Productivity Commission and are some of the highest paid public sector workers. So of course they should be doing this work for themselves. Considering Seymour has constantly taken potshots at what he deems over-regulation, and ignored questions around how regulation or lack thereof impacts the leaky building crisis, Pike River mine, workplace deaths in forestry and farming, finance company collapses, unsafe aged care, and dangerous adventure tourism, there should be alarm bells ringing here for all of us. The bill itself will result in major constitutional changes, changing our legislative and judicial systems. Overhauls that enshrine the rigid legal frameworks that prioritise individual and property rights, reduce the government's ability to protect the environment and people, and undercut te tiriti-based initiatives and agreements because of the whole individual versus collective property rights thing that I mentioned earlier. The brainchild of the New Zealand Initiative, the organisation that was run until 2020 by a far-right blogger who talked about incel ideology and sexual exploitation scandals that he felt he was missing out on. It's so weird how these neoliberal organizations with links to other neoliberal organizations within the country seem to attract people that on alarming regular basis raise questions like, why are these people involved? And nobody involved seems to stop and ask why that might be. Anyway, the way to give feedback on this bill is through the engagement hub on the Ministry of Regulation website. It's so important it's currently the second thing on the page behind dobbing people in, because remember, snitches get ACT Party caucus seats, probably. It's certainly more vetting than they actually did during the election. But feedback is due by January 13, and I would really suggest reading the documents first to help you build a complete picture of what's being suggested. Well, maybe ignore the minister's preamble, which is all spin, and see what's actually being proposed before you offer your feedback on this bill. But remember, you've only got until January 13 to do so. Hey, thanks for checking out today's video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe so you get more updates as we go along. We deal with these guys for the rest of the year.